All right, Commanders fans. If anybody cares about why this is Ohm away from home, if you've run across my verbosity before, I go by Ohm online. I have been a Redskins fan since 1969 when we moved to the DC area in 1969. That, for those not strong in math like me, is 55 years. I looked it up. So you can tell where I am in my life right now. The reason I'm bringing any of this up is Ohm away from home has levels. So the reason I didn't get to watch this game live, this game being the Commanders going on the road and beating the NFC's #1 seed, the Detroit Lions, in their house, and doing it in sort of spectacular, almost unbelievable fashion that has professional commentators searching for words and getting lost in hyperbole. The game came on at a little after 2 a.m. in Budapest, where I spent a weekend. Long story. I was unable to watch it live for a number of reasons. So this was my little experience, and this may be unique to anybody who's listening to this. I woke up at 5:20 something in the morning, 5:15 perhaps local time. Thought, well, a little internal alarm went off. It's like, you better check and see the score. And as you know, if you listen to any of our installments, I did not think that the Commanders would win this game. I thought the defense would be overwhelmed. So I woke up to see the final score, and it's pitch black in our gray, it's very gray in Budapest. There's a whole lot of cloud and rain. And I'm squinting at my phone to try to see what time it is and what the score was. And I go to ESPN, which is my go-to, and I see through bleary eyes without my spectacles on that it's 45-31 Washington with about 2.5 minutes to go. And spent the next 10 or 15 minutes watching Gamecast update. You know how you wait for the internet to update or the app to update and show you each play? Even with 2 minutes to go, I mean, the Lions had the ball and they're driving. And so, I didn't know. I said, it looks pretty good to my beautiful, wonderful wife who's tolerating me doing this while we're, not sleeping in on our vacation day in Budapest. And then before you know it, it's the last play rings up with interception, Jeremy Chin. And I just kind of lay back in bed and just had this feeling, this feeling that I think many of you probably share: disbelief, wonder, joy, pride, maybe even a touch of anger over all the wasted years under our previous regime. But here we are in the here and now. And I was unable to join my friends on the Blind Pig podcast, which I miss dearly. That is a big downside of being away from home for a length of time. But I needed to share my thoughts, and I thought I'd throw them out there, and anybody who's willing to listen and hang with me, I appreciate it. If not, no worries, I understand. I'm wearing the backwards hat yet again, and I, at this point, would not be shocked if I'm wearing it again next week after playing Philadelphia. I'll probably do another little quick thing before the Philly game rather than speak for way too long on this one. But I'm going to start with Dan Quinn again, and I'm going to broaden it out to not just Dan Quinn, but to Adam Peters and Josh Harris and Magic Johnson and Mitch Rales and the quarterback and the assistant coaches and everybody who's sort of had a hand in launching this thing into levels that nobody saw coming. And I keep coming back to the whole character thing and culture thing. And I saw a distinction and maybe a little bit of a warning in what I saw from the Detroit Lions. I've been kind of a closet Lions fan the last 2 or 3 years. I've enjoyed watching what they're building with the culture and how hard they play. And I've been telling anybody who listened over the last 6 months that I think we're where the Lions were a year or two ago, culture building, yay, but they didn't have the talent yet. And I thought that was a pretty apt thing. And I saw something from the Lions on Sunday, and I'm sure I'm not the only one, but when they haven't been on top. They haven't really won anything yet, right? They've gotten to one NFC championship game last year and lost it. This year they were supposed to go, and the culture was supposed to be in place, and I saw chinks in that armor. And the one who really jumped out at me was with Jameson Williams. Tell me if this is new or surprises anybody, but it starts with when he runs that amazing reverse while Teddy Bridgewater is in as backing up for Goff for a play or two. And he makes this amazing play, and at about the 17-yard line, as he's coasting in to score, he starts waving the ball around. Deion Sanders kind of made that popular, I guess, with styling down the sidelines like he used to do. But Deion was Deion. Jameson Williams is not yet Deion. I don't think he ever will be. So that kind of got me going. Then he gets in the end zone and does his, I'm not going to name it. If you saw it, you saw it. His touchdown celebration after that, the end zone hump or whatever the hell he called the thing, which I thought was, I'm 64, and maybe if I was 24 or 34, I'd just laugh at it. At 64, I'm like, dude, really? Show some class. Act like a man. Act like a grown-up. But that's just me. So it's that being full of yourself thing, and it was the me thing. Contrast that to the celebrations you saw from Terry McLaurin, from Jeremy Chin, from Mikey Sandra still. They celebrate. They do their, I love Terry McLaurin's, peekaboo thing when he scores. But it's not all about look at me. It's got kind of a team vibe to it. I didn't see that from the Lions. I did not see that from the Lions, at least not from their offense. And then later in the game, and this is where I'm going with this, it's not just a culture and it's not just how you project your team image, but it has to do with the way the game is played. When he decides to throw a pass that clearly he had no reason throwing, you know what that was? That was Jameson Williams putting himself above the team. I'm the man. I do what I do. This is what I do. And he hurt his team. I don't see Dan Quinn's team exhibiting any kind of individualism that way and making plays. He chose to make that play. He saw that it was covered. He threw it anyway. He's going to make the play, right? This is my projecting down the road fear with the Commanders that it's right now this magic, right? That they're all for one and one for all and greater than the sum of their parts. I hope that lasts. I hope that with all of the exposure they're going to get now, good Lord, you think it's been a lot of talk and a lot of fanfare up until now. Wait until what happens if they beat Philadelphia. And even when it heads into the offseason, it's going to be constant. Commanders are there, Jaden Daniels this. They are going to hear it. And I just hope that Adam Peters, that he cares enough about the culture thing and bringing in the right people. Jameson Williams is a brilliant, brilliant player. But he's not a team guy in the way that I don't think he's a commander. And I'd like to think that Adam Peters will see it the same way. So that was a long way to go on that. And I'm sorry if it's boring, but those are the kind of things that I notice. And I think that's a big part of why we're where we are. By the way, the sunshine, the other reason I'm doing this with that horrible lighting is we don't get a lot of sunshine in this part of the world this time of year. I am back in Germany, in my home, in my living room, and the sun is out and it's a beautiful day. The sun is coming out on Commanders fans. What can I tell you? So specifically about this game, the defense deserves so much credit in this. And boy, we tore them up. I tore them up all season long up until the last few weeks. And what we saw on Sunday was the defense that Joe Witt and Dan Quinn promised us in the offseason. They were going to create turnovers. They were going to attack. They were going to wreak havoc. They might give up yards, but they were going to get the ball. Well, that's what this looks like. That's what it looks like, what we saw on Sunday. They forced Jared Goff into mistakes. Goff overthrew an open Williams early in the game on just a pure overthrow where he was open, and it probably would have been a touchdown. But then on the first Mikey Sainristil interception, the pass was a little bit under duress, and it was not up far enough out in front as Williams is crossing into the end zone. Sainristil is behind him, but he's able to undercut it because the ball needs to be further out in front. And Tom Brady said so. He said so on the broadcast. But you know what? That is what good defenses do. They provide just enough pressure so the pass is just enough off against mortal quarterbacks. Sorry, Mr. Goff, you're mortal. To the defense, the strip sack may have been the play of the game. Without the early strip sack, Detroit may be going in to go up 14-3. Maybe it's a different game. Instead, we get the ball at 7-3 and drive down the field and score. So nothing but more love for the defense. I don't think it's a coincidence that the defense is playing over the last 2 weeks in particular better with a legitimate starting cornerback opposite Mikey Sainristil. Marshawn Lattimore's name didn't come up, and I know he missed a bad tackle on the sideline. But he didn't get challenged, right? We didn't see him trailing people, catching open passes. He didn't get a pick. I don't know if they stayed away from him or not, but it sort of seemed that way. And I think him being out there has allowed Joe Witt to scheme and then call the defense that he's been wanting to call all year. I can't wait to see that match up against Philly and a Jalen Hurts, who I think is, maybe a little bit gimpy. He will not be running for major yards. If we get a semi-stationary quarterback back there, we have a very good chance to slow down that offense from Philly. Jaden Daniels, like I mentioned, you've got the national press and the international press, by the way, talking about this kid and all falling all over themselves to come up with superlatives to describe what they're seeing. And I think to summarize it all is that what we're seeing has never been done before, and there aren't really words in context to put it in. He's doing shit that ain't been done before. And we're getting to watch it in real time. Jaden, I hope what I was saying earlier about the culture thing and not letting things get to your head like I think it did for Jameson Williams, I just hope he keeps it tuned out. He's done nothing but the right thing since he's been the quarterback. And he is apparently mature enough to have all this stuff wash off him. It's going to be really hard for him not to get a full head. Pat Mahomes seems to have done it. Tom Brady seems to have been able to do it. Joe Montana was able to stay above it all and maintain the level. I hope we get that from Jaden Daniels. The opportunity to watch this kid play for the next 10 or 15 years, wearing our colors, is, this is the stuff that football dreams are made of, my friends. So we are living that dream. I'm not going to talk about his specific game. You saw it, I saw it, and we've all been listening to the breakdown all year about it. Just a couple of other game notes, and then I'm going to stop yakking. It irritated me to no end that official rules guy Pereira just flatly said that the Luvu hit on Jared Goff on that interception return should have been called. Bro, I don't think so. I think he was just wrong. Luvu comes in with the face mask, the upper face mask, not the crown, and hits Jared right here, right in the upper chest. Jared starts going back. Luvu goes through. Yeah, the head slides up and catches Goff's lower face mask. That's football. That is not a call. It irritates me that the official guy was just wrong. It also irritated me that the face mask call on Frankie Luvu later against, I believe it was Jahmyr Gibbs, was clearly not a face mask. It's not reviewable. The Lions went on and scored a touchdown. We had them stopped, right? We stopped them on 3rd and 2 on that play. They get a first down, they go down and score. The officiating stuff drives you nuts when it's bad. And I want to throw it out there again. I don't know how long it's going to be before the NFL figures out that Jaden Daniels is the kind of guy that you want your officials to give the benefit of the doubt on calls and not let him get shoved out of bounds, 2 or 3 yards out of bounds, and goes flying into what looks like either a yard marker stand, or Jaden gets shoved out of bounds. He goes down, no call. They did call one late hit on him after he got rid of the ball, but there was at least one other where 2 guys smacked him well after the ball was gone, and no calls. Come on, NFL. Pat Mahomes isn't the only guy who gets protection. You can have more than one quarterback that you afford some benefit of the doubt. You want to keep this guy around, call him right. Don't miss him. Comment of the game from the commentators. By the way, I wanted to hate Tom Brady. I hadn't listened to him actually do a game before. Bro, I can't really hate him. Sounds like he's having so much fun. And I think as he gets better at sharing the football knowledge part of it, it'll be great, because no one's ever dissected defenses better than that son of a... I couldn't hate him. He's a little bit vanilla off the top of the broadcast, but I thought he did a pretty good job. His partner, whose name, with apologies, escapes me, one of the best comments I've heard in a long time is when he says, "This game is drunk." And that was after the Lions, I think, scored to make it 24-21 in that crazy second quarter. This game is drunk. It was amazing. And the last thing, let me close with the Lions fans. You think they got tired of hearing the gong for 3rd down and 4th down? I know it's the beginning of a song, and the name of the song escapes me. The 2 gongs. Well, in that quiet stadium, as they heard it over and over and over, as Washington would go to convert 3rd downs and 4th downs, they must have gotten so tired of hearing that shit. And towards the end, it occurred to me, I love it, because it's such a no-brainer. Ask not, Detroit fans, for whom the bell tolled. Hail, you guys. Enjoy the ride.